Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Creating Scenery for Microsoft Flight Simulator. I think this will probably be the last Parallax video, I think, for now. So we're going to build off what we did last time. So last time I showed you how to make a parallax window. All right. Now, I talked about in that video of importing parallax windows that you've made. Let's say you made a whole bunch of room parallax windows. Now, we're going to create a building, just, not accurate or anything like that, just for visual sakes. Today we're going to create a building, and we're going to append those different parallax windows into our model, just to show you how you can build a library of parallax windows and then use those as assets in your buildings. Okay, does that make sense? All right, so let's get started. We are in Blender 3.1. And all right, we got a new project up. So we are basically, I'm going to get rid of the camera and the light because I never really need them. We're going to leave the default cube. It gets to stay with us today. If you ever watch Blender tutorials, they always delete the default cube. All right, so we have a cube here, so we are going to go and we are going to give it some new dimensions. Remember now, our window, it doesn't really matter, but our window that we created in the last video was 8 meters by 8 meters. All right, so we're going to create a cube that's 16 meters cubed. Okay. And we'll zoom out. We got to move that up half of that. So we're going to move that up to the ground level. All right. So now we have a cube. And we are going to go to Objects. And we're going to apply all transformations. Then we're going to go into Edit mode. And I'm going to select with my polygon select. Sorry, no screencast again. Sorry. All right. So we're going to go into Edit. Turn on faces, and we're going to select this face, this face, this face, and we're going to hit P. We're going to create a new selection. We'll call that exterior. Okay. Oh yeah, let me start. I always name try to start out naming my collection the name of the model that I'm going to do. So I'm going to go build with para. Okay, building with parallax windows. All right, so we have our walls. We need a roof, so we'll select that and separate that out. Call it roof. Okay, and then we have our. Let's do this. Let's call this one. Let's P that. And call that floor. Okay, and now we have our window area. All right, so we're going to call this, let's get out of edit mode, select this. Let's call this trim. All right, now I'm going to go back into edit mode, right click, and I'm going to subdivide that into 4 pieces. All right. Then we are going to give it some wood trim on the outside, or not really wood trim, just a different material. I'm going to hit I twice, so I put insets in each individual polygon, and we're going to move that like that. No, let's Control Z that. All right, sorry, I Control Z one too many times. All right, so we're going to select these. We're going to hit I. I always get my cursor too close. All right, I, and then we're going to hold the Shift key, slide that down so they're kind of like nice and wide like that. All right. Then with those polygons still selected, we're going to extrude that, and we're going to push it back so it's inset like that, so we have some trim. All right, now I'm going to take these two top windows and I'm going to subdivide them twice. All right, now on this polygon right here, depends on how you want to make your frames for your windows. Okay, so on this polygon I am going to just simply do a loop cut down the middle. Okay, so we get a partition down the middle. And this one we'll leave the same because I'm not going to put anything in that corner. We're just going to show you what it's like. All right, now we are going to inset. We're going to select some faces, and I'm holding shift, select this face, and this face. All right, and then we are going to hit I again, and it should be all, since the last operation was individual polygons, I only have to hit I once. Okay, but if it doesn't do them individually like this, then hit the I again and it will do it. All right, so I made some, so I clicked and made some kind of frame there, and I want to inset those back. So I'm going to extrude, hold my shift key, and then just push the window glass back. Okay, so now we have window frame looks. All right, now with all of the, let me select this one now. Okay, so all of the inset faces are selected. I'm going to hit P, selection, and I'm going to just call this glass. I mean, I'm not going to use it, but just in case I want to use it later, they're there. All right, so I'll turn those off. So we just have a simple cube, and with some framing stuff. Okay, now I'm going to go back to trim. Okay, and I want to extract just that thick first trim, that first inset that we did, these big dividers here. All right, so I'm going to go back into edit mode. I'm going to turn on ghost, and we're going to try to select just, no, I got that one. We're just going to try to select the faces that belong to the main trim, like that. So we want that. All right, so let me get these selected. No, we should be all right. I don't want my interior window frame. All right, so I'm just trying to select these here. I think this should be good like that. Yeah. Select those, and do not select the frame of the window. I think I got one selected, and I want to unselect that one. Whoops. Alright, we'll select these. Sorry about this. I should have just put it on pause until I had them all selected. I'm sorry. Alright, but you guys get the picture of what I'm trying to do, right? I hope. So I should have the trim all selected, right? And we're going to hit P to make that a new selection. And we're going to call this, we're going to call this one, no, yeah, no. I want this one. Let me get out of edit mode. That's our frames. So I'm going to rename this one to frame. Okay. And then get rid of the dot on the end there. Call that one trim. All right. So if I go in here, all right, now we haven't done anything with the parallax objects, but we'll get back to that. We're just going to set this up. Now let's add some materials. So let's select our roof, all right, and let's give it a new material. And let's see, we want to dissociate that, call this roof, and let's just make it black. Okay, so it's a flat roof, and let's turn the roughness all the way up so it's nice and flat black. All right, we can even turn down the metallic if we wanted to. There's no metallic on it, so we're good. All right, so let's select the exterior walls, and let's go into UV editor. And I've copied a brick texture down, so hit A to select all those polygons. All right, and I think 1, 2, 3, I think they're all okay, but let's go ahead and UV unwrap those anyway. Smart UV unwrap those. All right, and let's add in our brick texture. So let's disassociate materials, call new, call this brick. Okay, come down here, go to MSFS parameters, standard, and let's go get and let's do double-sided, and then come down here and open up a brick texture. All right, so we'll go to model libs, we'll go to texture, and there's a brick. Open that up, turn this into our kind of our rendered mode here. Select over here, select all, scale, make our brick smaller. Okay, go into layout. All right, so we have a brick cube. All right, now for the trim, we're just going to make this white. We're going to get rid of material. We don't have to, we can just rename it, but we're going to call this white, and I'm just using vertex colors for this, and I'm just going to turn up the roughness. All right, so it has a white trim in the front. Then I'm going to select the frames, and we're going to make these kind of a silvery shiny. All right, so using vertex colors, so we're going to create a new material, call that frame, whatever, and we're gonna just darken it up a little bit, and then we're going to push the metallic up and the roughness down to make it kind of a we can even go further. There we go, kind of a shiny aluminum or whatever. All right, so we have our building. All right, so let's do a save, and we're in our build with para folder inside of our model lib, and we're going to call the model build with para. That didn't work. Let's try this again. Build with para. All right, and then save. All right, so we have a model name called Build with Para. We have a collection called Build with Para, and then we have some objects in there. Now, here's getting the parallax windows. All right, so I'm going to go into just viewport shading there, and we are going to turn off ghost mode for right now, and we are simply well, first let's double check. I think I did this already, but we're going to apply all transformations. All right, okay, and then we're going to do a save. Now we want to add in our parallax windows. So I'm going to come up here to File, and I'm going to Append, and then with the Append, we're going to go look we're going to go get the model that we created for our Parallax windows. And I know that they're in the Parallax Windows folder. And then I have, I have 3 that are ready to go. So we're going to choose the first window as the one that we did last in the video. So I'm going to select Para Window 6, append. It's going to take me into its Blender folder, and I'm going to go to Object and select the plane and append. And you see it inserts it into our model. All right, now, and over here on plane, you see the object over here. Now, if we get at it, I'm not in edit mode. Yeah. Okay, so with that plane selected, if you come down here to the materials, you'll notice that it brings in the living material that was part of that model. And if I scroll down, you'll notice that MSFS parameters is still set to parallax because that model was using the parallax, right? And then the color of the glass or the emission, and also down here it's pointing toward that brown glass material that we used, and it's also looking at that blue living room material. So all the materials are set by just simply appending that file to this. Now we just have to move it and position it into place. Okay, now on the view, when it brings in the model, I believe that it was like this. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to first, we want to rotate that on the Z 90 degrees. All right, so it's facing out toward the windows. Then I'm going to go into edit mode, turn on nodes or vertices, and I'm going to shift click that bottom left hand corner. Make sure my snapping is turned on and it's set to vertex active. The active vertex is the white, and we're going to move that up to this corner here. Okay, so I'm going to hit G and it moves it there. Okay, now it's bigger than our windows, but that's okay. We are going to turn on ghost mode, and I'm going to select these top and make this corner active. And we are going to move that down GZ to there. So it's we're matching it to our window glass. All right. Now we're going to select these right ones, hit this bottom right hand corner to control it, and then we're going to hover our mouse over the point, hit G. And then I want to do GY just in case I inadvertently moved my mouse. So that plane is sitting behind the frames. Okay? Now, we get out of edit mode and let's do a save. Now let's bring in another room. Now this one had brown glass in it. Okay? The one that we just brought in has brown glass. Now if I do the view, it doesn't show up, but that's okay. It doesn't show up in Blender. All right, so let's go back to object and let's file append, and let's go back to the model lib and go back to parallax window, and let's bring in parallax window 5. All right, this one I think had green glass, I think. I can't remember. So let's bring in parallax window 5, go to object, and yes, it's a plane too, but that's okay. It'll automatically make it plane 001 on there. So append, and let's select plane 001. It's using green glass. All right, and it's using the same living room. All right, the only difference is that the color of the glass is green. All right, so with that selected, we are going to tab into edit mode, and we're going to rotate Z 90 degrees so it's facing toward the window. Then I'm going to hold shift, select this left hand, bottom left hand, and we are going to move it to this corner. And then sizing it is exactly the same. Just select the vertices you want and GZ, and then the right side, bottom right hand corner, and we're going to move GY, snap it right there. But it's behind the glass. All right, so this one has, these two are the same room, but one has brown glass, one has green. All right, now we're going to put something up here, a totally different room. All right, so I'm going to get out of edit mode, and I'm going to go to File, Append, and we're going to go to the Model Lib, Parallax Windows, and Window 4 is a totally different room. So I'm going to select Window 4, Append, go to Object, select the plane, and append. And so we have three planes. We have plane, plane 01, and 02. And if I go to 02, which is the one we just brought in, it's using green glass, but it's also using a totally different room. Okay? Now, go back into edit mode and select this left-hand corner. I believe that this one is facing the other direction, but I can't remember. Well, we'll fix it. We'll see what it looks like in the sim, and then I might have to rotate this one. All right, but I can't remember. Or maybe I can check up here. It's double-sided, so all right. Now we're going to move that up to the top right-hand room. So I'm going to hover my mouse at that corner, hit G, and then size it again just like we did before with the other ones. And we're going to GZ till down there. That looks good. Over here, lower right hand corner, we'll move that GY. Okay, so that room is right there. Now, when I bring it into the sim, I don't know if that room's, I can't remember which way it was oriented. All right, now we'll go into shaded mode. Let's do a file, save. All right, so this is what we have. Obviously in Blender, you can't see our parallax rooms. All right, now this right-hand corner doesn't have I didn't make a room. All right, now let's get out of edit mode. I think I already did a save before. All right, and then let's just make sure that all the objects are applied, all transformations. Now we need to export this. We need to set up our, this is a new drawing, we need to set up our export. This is weird. Why is that? Oh, my folder structures is, I made an extra folder. I need to get rid of that. All right, so let me fix this real quick. All right, let me do a file save as, and I want to go up one directory, and I want to save this blend file. I don't want it in this folder. I'm going to get rid of that one. So save as, and that should be right. So let me check, make sure. Sorry, I just went too fast. Yeah. Okay, yeah, we're good. All right, I got rid of that extra directory. So save. All right, so now our path is model lib build with para, and then our model build with para. All right. Now we need to set up our export. So I'm going to do, since this is a new project, we're going to export GLTF and set up the default settings. So I'm going to make this format bin GLTF bin GLTF bin plus textures, and make this /texture because that is the texture directory of our model lib. Remember, include selected objects, custom properties, punctual lights. I don't have any lights in it, but that's okay. And then apply modifiers. All right, so I click export, and nothing's selected, but that's okay. We're just setting up that initial environment. So it created the GLTF. Now, when we use the Asobo exporter, it will take care of the rest. All right, so let's go to the exporter, go to settings, /texture, because we need to make sure that that's the same as our first setup. Include custom punctual lights, transform geometry, apply modifiers. Okay, and then go to objects, group by collection, para with build with para. We want to generate an XML. Our working directory is our model lib build with para, which is, we're going to accept that. Then we're going to select the build with para, and we're going to export. And now we'll have the bin and the XML. Okay, so we have the bin, the XML, and the GLTF. Okay, now the next process is to build it. All right, so let me go to Blender, and I'm going to move Blender to my other window for right now and minimize, and we'll be right back to it. All right, so here is our folder. So we're going to go into the project folder. We're going to left select the XML, drop it on our FS package tools, and it's building on the left side of the screen at the moment. On my left monitor, as soon as that's done, I'll move it over if it works. So it's compiling the textures, turning them into DDSs. And 0 fail, so that's good. That's always what you want to see right there, 0 fill. So now it's ready for the sim. Now we'll make some adjustments inside the sim. All right, so let me get the sim started and I'll be right back. Okay, we're in the sim. So over here in our objects, so I loaded the 5-alpha-1 project and opened the BGL into the sim. And over here we have build with para object that we just created. I'm going to do one-click placing, and we're going to, yeah, it's huge, but you know, this is only to show you the process. Click there, and then we'll get off of that. Then I'm going to hit R, kind of go up. Oh, I always do that. And we're going to swing around. And notice that we have our rooms. Okay, so here's the first room that we did up here, and it has the brown glass. The same room with green glass, and then our different looking room, and then this one doesn't have anything in it. All right, so as I move around, you can see the 3D appearance. All right. Now, what I'm going to show you now is, with this still open, I'm going to open up Blender and look at some of these settings on the parameters. So let me bring over Blender, and we're going to select this bottom room, and we're going to come down here to the material settings, and I'm going to just show you. Okay, so here's parallax scale. I have it set for 0.8. I'm going to make that 0.5. And I'm going to change the X and Y scaling to half just to show you what it does. So you'll concentrate on this lower left-hand window. So if I make the scale 0.5 in the X and 0.5 in the Y. And then I do a save. And then I do a new export. I don't know if it'll update the sim. If it doesn't, I'll show you how to do that. Move Blender out of the way. Let me hit that export again. All right, so nothing's changing here. It should change right here. But if it doesn't, you're going to open up the GLTF in Notepad++. That is Build with Para. You're going to open up the GLTF with Notepad++. And all you're going to do is simply find a spot, space, backspace, save, and that should update the sim with the new settings. And there you go. Okay? So notice that the X and Y scale made 4 copies of that room. Okay? It made 4 copies of the room, and they all parallax independently. So if you were making an apartment building and you wanted to make a whole bunch of rooms, of course you'd want to make your dividers to be equal to how many subdivisions that you make, right? All right, so I'm going to go back into Blender, and I'm going to change that back. And we are going to change the scale. We're going to, where is it? There we go. I went too far over. So we're going to go to scale, and we're going to make our scale 1. Remember, it was 0.8 last time. And then we're going to make our room scale 1 in the X and in the Y. Okay. Do a save. And re-export. Hit the export. And I'm going to move that out of the way just in case. Alright, it has not updated the sim, so I need to open that GLTF again. So I open up the GLTF, space, backspace, save, and it should save our room. Whoops, there we go. Come on. There we go. Now I got it. And it changes our room back into the scale, right? Now, let's talk about the parallax scale. Since I have the parallax scale set to 1, it makes the room look as deep as it is wide. Okay? So it looks like this is an 8 by 8 meter cube inside, right? Now, if I go back into Blender, and let's bring that back wall up further, closer to the window glass, which you probably wouldn't do. So in your Blender parameters, if I go to Parallax Scale and change this to, let's say, 0.25, do a save, and export again. Okay, now I'll have to update the GLTF again in order to have it live update. So we'll open that up in Notepad++. You can't see it, it's off the screen, but I'm doing the same thing. Hit space, backspace, and then resave the GLTF. And it'll look like the room is not as deep as it used to be. See how that, I brought it, so I set the scale to 25% of the parallax, the plane size. So it looks like the back wall is closer to the window. So if I go into the sim, see how that looks? All right, now this block, I made 16 meters. I made it twice as deep, right? So I'm going to go back into Blender. and we're going to change the parallax scale to 2 to make it look like it goes all the way back. All right, so parallax scale will make that 2. Oh, no, 1, that's right. 1 is the highest that it can't go further back than that. I forgot about that. Sorry, because if I hit 2 and hit enter, it changes it to 1. All right, I'm sorry, I forgot about that. You'd have to use a corridor, all right, and to make it further back, but we're not doing that. So let's do a save, re-export. Then I'm going to open up the GLTF again and simply hit space, backspace, save. And then this room should pop back to where it was before. Okay, so it looks like an 8x8 cube. Okay, but each window is acting independently. This has a scale of 0.5. This has a scale of 0.5. So let's change those to 1. So go again, Blender, and I'm doing this off screen now. So I'm going to select that upper right hand room, change our parallax scale to 1. That's all I'm doing is parallax scale. Select this window over here and make that parallax scale 1. Okay. And then a save and a re-export. And then update my GLTF. Space, backspace, save. And then these rooms get pushed back a little bit more. Okay, not much because these two rooms were set at 0.8. All right, so that is appending parallax windows into your models to make three-dimensional rooms without having to model the three-dimensional room. Okay. So there you go. I hope this helps in you making your projects. I look forward to seeing you guys' scenery. And if you have any comments, questions, comment down below. I'll be glad to help you out. And again, my commercial. If you haven't already subscribed, please do. The algorithm is so tough to get around, and if you subscribe, hit the notification bell, make comments, that bypasses a lot of the algorithm stuff on YouTube. I'm not here to make money. You know, I'm here to give you guys a great hobby to participate in and give back to the flight sim community. And if you incline to support me, buymeacoffee.com/myphysicalworld. And I also put some free resources up on my Gumroad page, myphysicalworld.gumroad.com. And I got some models that I put up as I get them done, and they're free. I do accept donations, but that's, like I said, it's not what this is about for me. You guys have been great in supporting this tiny speck of a channel. I appreciate every one of you. I tried to communicate with you guys as much as possible. I don't have as many subscribers that, you know, prohibits me from, you know, commenting, you know, replying to comments and stuff. Also join my Facebook group, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 SDK and Scenery, and also Jan Lammers, which is my Microsoft Flight Simulator developers worldwide. Anyway, so I hope this helps you guys in your modeling, and yeah, this is fun. Parallax is fun. It's complicated to know how it really works, but Asobo has put it into the exporter, which makes it a lot easier for people to do this. Hey, I appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you guys on the next video. See ya.